They say health is the biggest wealth that anyone can have. And Huawei has really taken health features to the next level with the Huawei Watch 4. Hey guys, Andre here from TechLocal. Let's talk about the Huawei Watch 4. The two main features that should really be talked about on this watch are the eSIM capability and of course, its health features. But before we dive into the main features, I want to first talk about the other aspects of this watch. The way this watch looks isn't going to turn heads. If I'm being honest, it just looks like a typical smartwatch, especially this black color variant. This features a slim body with removable silicone straps, a rotating crown, and a single shortcut button. If you really wanted to go for the design, I would highly recommend that you also look into the more fashionable Huawei Watch GT4. This, however, is targeted more towards people who are more concerned about their health, and it's brilliant for that application. Back to its design, this also features a curved display which looks really nice, especially with the new interactive watch faces. Most of the built-in watch faces here aren't just for aesthetic purposes, but they actually have more functionality in them. Some would cycle through different looks, show different information, and there are even faces which have games to beat boredom while waiting somewhere. And most of these are customizable. The Watch 4 runs on Harmony OS, and like all other Huawei watches before it, all other functionality are also here. And the ability to install third-party apps through Huawei's app gallery is also an option. I myself have installed a calculator and a voice recorder, but there are a lot more options to choose from, and you can download all of these via Wi-Fi. As most feature-packed smartwatch, this doesn't have the stellar battery life of the more budget options. On Huawei's data, this will last about a few days. I, on the other hand, have only managed to reach around 3 days on its standard mode, which is decent if you compare it to other competing smartwatches around this feature set. This does charge very quickly and also features wireless charging, so if you already have some wireless charging docks lying around, then of course it will be more convenient for you. Now onto the main feature that might interest most of you guys who are watching this. This can accept an eSIM and is capable of a one SIM, two device setup where your eSIM is linked to the Watch 4 and another mobile device like your smartphone. But this can also work as a standalone device and have full cellular connection with an independent eSIM, which means you do not have to have this linked to any device. Right now, that is the setup that I am doing. I have an eSIM installed here, which, by the way, was surprisingly easy to set up. It was just as simple as scanning a QR code. Now, you might think, well, what are the benefits of having to run this independently? This can come really handy when you happen to go out jogging or whenever the time comes that having to carry a phone or a bag with you would be cumbersome. With the Watch 4, you're still gonna be able to stay connected. You can take calls, send text messages, and stay online so you won't have to miss anything important when you're out and about. I'm curious as to how many people would actually find the use for this feature because this will actually drain your battery faster. I have noticed a significant decrease in battery life with this, and to counter that, this can be set up to automatically turn off cellular service when it pairs back with its host device. Now, we spoke of apps earlier. Here in the Philippines, GCash has been one of the most popular means of cashless payment. And soon, QR payments through GCash will be available on the Watch 4, which means if you happen to go out without your phone, you can still drop by a store, pick up groceries, buy coffee, and just use your watch for payment once the GCash option becomes available on the Watch 4. The second and possibly the most game-changing feature on this watch comes in its health features, or in particular, the Health at a Glance feature. This watch automatically records data from its user, but a more comprehensive testing can be done through what is called Health at a Glance. By just placing your finger on the shortcut button, the watch will display if it detects any abnormality from the test data that it has recorded. It takes just about a minute and it gets information based on the sensors attached on your wrist and finger, while for respiratory health, it will ask you to do deep breaths and even cough at the watch. These test results include your heart rate, blood oxygen, stress level, skin temperature, ECG, and FV1 and FVC. The first three mentioned are common in other smartwatches, but the thermometer, ECG, and respiratory health are the more extraordinary ones. Most especially the FEV1 and FVC, which if you do a quick research, means it is measuring how much air you can forcefully expire from your lungs to gather information. And this information can be really helpful in monitoring lung health and possibly see any irregularities based on the pattern it records, which may contribute to detection of any lung-related illnesses. Well, actually, I think that's the whole point of this device. A lot of the information that this will show can greatly contribute to seeing any irregularities in our system, allowing its user to take action and help us make sure that we are in top condition. The watch will constantly remind you that it's not a medical device, and it's absolutely not. I personally have not been very conscious of my health, but this watch has actually reminded me to be more mindful as we are now getting older. While I do think that there are people who would only use their smartwatches as step counters and for calorie count, there will always be those who would want a more serious set of health information to be laid out to them. Obviously, this isn't the most feature-packed smartwatch, but for me, this is the one that I've found to give the most relevant and useful information that I actually need to get me to make actionable results. And if health is valuable to you, which it should be, then I would advise you to also look into the Huawei Watch 4. This retails for 22,999 pesos. Once again, this has been Andre from Tech Local. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video.